And what yoga does, yoga brings us back into balance. Balance is the left brain, the left nostril, the right nostril. It brings this somatic mind, it brings the unconscious mind more into a balanced state, so that our body and our mind are balanced, so that we're better able to think more sensibly, more logically, and to do these exercises. So that's why the yoga practice is important. It improves our cognitive function and it reduces the symptoms of anxiety and depression. And also over time, yoga can work to release a lot of deeper stuff too. So if we're going to drop into the yoga practice now. The other thing that I wanted to say, on one of the weeks I gave you a handout which is a personal evolution process, like a daily journal. And I would encourage you, maybe it's not for everyone, but a lot of people find it really powerful to keep some kind of daily journal, like a reflective diary, maybe when you're doing your home practice, just to kind of note the things that are working, the things that aren't, the things you want to do more of. So that handout which I gave you either last week, I think it was last week, and I forgot to mention it, has got an example of just a little template that you can use to keep a reflective diary, a personal daily journal really. You know, reviewing what were the best bits, what worked, what didn't, and what you'd like more of, how you would like to be different, and what's working for you. So it's just a little template to use. Okay, so if you just drop down onto the mat, if we begin, just take yourselves to lie down completely on the mat, just lay out on your backs, with the legs out straight, if that's okay for your lower back. And just drop down into a relaxation. Just wanted to read this out to you, which is one of the Yoga Sutras about the work that the asanas do. Asanas are postures. So asanas are one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Obviously we go up through all sorts of things, working on the mind, meditation, all sorts of things are what yoga consists of. But this is just talking about the postures, the asanas. So asanas remove disease because they rebalance and regulate the pranas, nadis and chakras. So this is the subtle energy bodies and energy channels. Different diseases arise due to an imbalance in the energy infrastructure, which are relayed to the nervous system, glandular system, and then to all bodily systems, their organs and parts. Each asana is designed to remove an energy blockage from the subtle energy flows, thus allowing the energy to flow through the body in a regulated manner. These asanas also stimulate and regulate the chakras or psychic energy centers, thus rebalancing the energy of the pranas and nadis within those areas. So these are the deeper, stronger energy centers. In this way, regular practice of asana harmonizes and regulates all the energy fields within the body, which results in freedom from disease. Most disease is caused through blockage of energy, this subtle energy, our subtle energy body. And the big cause of energy blockage is tension, and in particular emotional tension, which is always stored in the body somewhere, causes these blockages. So yoga helps to release these locked down emotions, as does psychotherapy. Sometimes we need a bit of both, but yoga works a lot of magic. And the beauty of yoga is that you're in control, not that you aren't in psychotherapy, but that you're in control, and your unconscious mind can control the degree to which your stuff is released, if you like. And sometimes when people want that a bit faster, or there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of difficult history perhaps, you know, that's when psychotherapy can really, really help too. So just lie down in Shavasana, feel the body release into the floor. We won't stay here long because it's a bit of a cold day. And just connect with your breath. Just become aware of your breath in the body. The mouth is softly closed. And you're breathing in and out through the nostrils. And take your hands onto your lower belly, just around or below the navel. We're going to do a practice of complete breath, just to remind us of the full cavity in which we can breathe. So with your hands here, just begin to breathe, taking the breath down into the body so that the belly rises as you breathe in and drops back as you breathe out. So belly breathing, abdominal breathing. Taking the breath deep into the body with the abdominal muscles soft. As you breathe in, the belly rises up and expands like a small balloon. As you breathe out, it drops back. Always breathing through the nostrils in yoga because of the effect that it has on the nervous system is the main thing, and the brain, but also because the nostrils filter out viruses and particles, and they also warm up the breath and moisten it for when it goes down into the lungs. So it's very important to breathe through the nostrils in many, many ways. But just feeling this soft expansion of the belly. And then move your hands up to your rib cage. Have them really flat against the rib cage and just move them out a little bit to the side so the heel of your hand is in good contact with the side of the rib cage. And we're controlling the breath here, bringing the breath up higher into the body so that when you breathe in now, you can feel the ribs expand up, out, and even sideways. So you're controlling where the breath moves in the body. And here it's in the midsection of the body. So this is the second part of complete breath. The first part of complete breath is to breathe in through the belly. And then the second part is to take the breath up into the ribs. And then the final part of complete breath, because we're going to make this one single complete breath in a minute. The final part is the higher chest. So just bring your hands so that the fingers are around the collarbone. And the hands are just resting right on this upper part of the chest. And just see if you can breathe right up here, very high, only for a couple of breaths, because this is a real anxiety breath, very high in the chest. So just see, just for a couple of breaths, if you can just feel the tiniest bit of movement here, so that you know that even here we can breathe up to. And then release your hands back down to the floor. And we're going to combine in one long in-breath all of those three areas of movement of the breath. So in a minute, we're going to breathe in, beginning with the belly, then we're going to take it and fill the chest, and then we're going to take it right up and fill the top of the lungs. And we're going to breathe out in a long, slow out breath. And you can use your hands too, perhaps for the first couple of sequences. So breathing out and getting ready to take a long, deep in-breath. Breathe in, take your hands onto your belly, breathe into the belly. Continue to breathe in, the second stage, feel the ribs expand, bring them onto the ribs. And then bring them right onto the top of the chest and fill the top of the lungs with air. And then breathe out, long, slow out breath from the top of the lungs, ribs and belly. I'm going to do that twice more. You can use your hands or not. So breathe in through the belly, then the rib cage, filling this middle section of the body, and then right up to the top of the lungs, fill in this top up breath right at the top here, and then a long, slow out breath from the top, middle, bottom. And then do that once more, full yogic breath, breathing in through the belly, the lower breath, then the mid chest, then the upper chest, filling this entire breath cavity with air, and then a long, slow out breath. And then just letting go of the breath, bend your right leg at the knee, bring the sole of the foot to the floor, and take your thigh over your chest. So bring the right thigh over the chest. Hold around the back of the knee. Keep this left leg long. And as you breathe out, bend your elbows and just ease and draw your thigh into your chest. Breathing out. As you breathe in, release the knee a little bit, let it float back up. And twice more. As you breathe out, squeeze and ease the thigh closer into the chest, feeling the stretch and opening in the right hip. Breathe in to release. Breathe out, ease and squeeze the thigh close into the chest. Really feel that work in the right hip. And then release the right leg. Allow the foot to float all the way back down to the floor. And extend the right leg out along the mat. And both legs are straight. And then bend the left leg, take the thigh over the chest. So we keep the whole of the back of the body long from the sacrum to the back of the head. And then interlace your hands around the back of the left knee. And as you breathe out, squeeze and ease the thigh into the chest. Bending the elbows, bringing the thighs close in towards your chest as you can. Breathe in to release it back up. And twice more. So we're working into a long stretch deep into the groin and the hip on the left side. Working into that hip. After 3 times, just release your leg, but keep the left knee bent, sole of the foot on the floor. So release your leg, just allow the foot to float back down to the floor, and then bring the right leg up to join it. So both knees are bent. Feet are flat on the floor, and then take both thighs over the chest and interlace, hold your hands around the back of both knees. And as you breathe out, draw both thighs into the chest and at the same time look up between the knees. Balasana. Breathe in to bring the head back down and release, and then do that twice more. So as you breathe out, squeeze the thighs closer into the chest and look up the head between the knees. Hold that for as long as is comfortable. Breathe in to release back down. And do that once more. Breathe out, hold, working into the abs. Breathe in to release back down. And then drop your feet to the floor, keeping the knees bent. Just move your arms out to the sides a little bit, so they're just a little away from your body. And bring your feet and your knees together. And just drop your knees over to the right a little bit. Not completely, just halfway. Breathe in to bring them up. And then over to the left. So just do this sort of gentle rocking. Feeling the work in the back of the sacrum, the back of the hips. Breathing in to bring the knees up, breathing out as you drop them just about halfway, so it's quite a dynamic posture, just easing out through the back. And the next time you drop them to the left, bring them up and just remain still, but take the feet and the knees about hip width apart. The arms are long by the side of the body. Lift your right foot off the floor and take your right foot and place it on top of the left knee. So the right foot's on top of the left knee. The right knee is out at an angle, so you've got like a hole in the leg there. And just make sure that the right foot is flexed, so that the right foot is bent at an angle rather than pointing down. And that just helps to protect the knee. And then see if you can lift your left foot off the floor. So lift the left foot off the floor and bring that knee closer into your body. And see if you can poke your right arm through the hole in the right leg and take your left arm around and interlace your hands around the back of the left knee. So you're holding the back of the left knee. So you'll feel a real squeeze in the right hip, a stretch down the iliotibial band on the outside of the right thigh. And we'll do the same 3 movements. As you breathe out, bend your elbows, draw your thigh closer into your chest. Breathe in, release it back. Each time breathing out, draw and squeeze the thigh closer into the chest. So 3 movements on the out breath. That's it, use that hand as well to hold around, that's it, yeah. So both hands, 3 movements. And then when you finish 3, just release the hands, allow the left foot to float back down, uncross the right leg. So it's quite a strong stretch in that outside right thigh. And this is what we need to do. We need to work into these areas. So we swap the legs over, crossing the left over the right, keeping that foot flexed, lifting the right foot off the floor and seeing if you can just thread the arms through, holding around the back of the right knee. You may find it easier on one side than the other. And as you breathe out, ease and squeeze the right thigh into the chest. You can even use your left elbow to press into the left thigh to get more of a stretch. Breathe in, release. Breathe out, stretch. 3 movements. So we're working quite deeply into the hip flexors, opening the hips, which is an area of the body that holds a lot of trapped energy, holds a lot of tension. It's the area of the body that we need to release for things like PMS. Allow the right foot to float back down to the floor, uncross the legs. And once more, just take both thighs over the chest. So we're going to do half baby pose. So take both thighs over the chest. And with the legs here, the arms are just by the sides of the body on the floor. Just raise your lower legs so the feet are flat towards the ceiling. So the knees are bent, the thighs are still over the chest, and all that's happened is you've lifted up your lower legs. And see if you can reach up with your hands and just hold your feet. So your knees are very bent and your legs are about hip width apart. So they're not together, they're apart. And you'll just hold with your hands and see if you can bend your knees and squeeze your thighs closer into the chest and then take them wide. We're aiming to get the thighs wide either side of the ribs. So the right knee is coming down towards the right armpit, the left knee down towards the left armpit. So we're opening quite deep into the hips. The thighs coming down either side of the ribs. So we're widening through the groin and the hips. And just hold that and breathe. That's it, great. The legs stay vertical. That's it, the lower legs vertical. That's it, lovely. So you'll feel a really deep opening in the hips and groin. Keep breathing nice and slowly and deeply. And then release the feet and allow the feet to float back down to the floor. And when you're ready, just push up to sitting. So we're working quite deep into the hips. Did everyone feel that? Yeah, working quite deeply into this hip area, yeah. And it's quite fascinating. Certain parts of the body mirror each other. So, you know, where do we hold tension? We have what we call 6 bridges of tension in the body. It's called the 6 gates. The face, well, the eyes and the upper face is one. The jaw and the tongue is another. And how much tension do we hold in that jaw? You know, I mean, some of us grind our teeth at night. You know, I mean, mine's got a lot better, but we hold a lot of tension in the jaw. This masseter muscle is pounds per square inch. It's the strongest muscle in the body, yeah. So this is a tension bridge. These are a big tension bridge. The diaphragm, the abdominal area, and the pelvis, the pelvic floor, big tension bridge in the feet. So these 6 kind of key bridges of the body, gates of tension, that have a lot of kind of brain center dedicated to them. So they're very quick to tense and slow, very slow to release, if they ever release, some of us, you know. So the jaw often mirrors the hips. And it's quite remarkable when you can teach somebody who's got really tight hips. You know, somebody with really tight hips can't sit cross-legged very well. You know, their knees are right up here. Can release jaw tension, teach them how to release jaw tension, quite often the hips just flop open. It's quite amazing. So come to all fours kneeling. So the knees are hip width apart, the hands are shoulder distance apart. And this is quite a nice one to release the shoulders. So just bring your elbows onto the floor, cross one arm over the other, so the opposite hand holds the opposite elbow and the lower arms are kind of parallel or crossed. And we haven't moved the arms or the elbows yet. All we're going to do is ease the buttocks back to stretch out through the upper back and shoulders. See if you can take your forehead onto the floor as you just ease back and stretch out through the spine. This is called the tiger posture. That's it. See if you can relax your head and take your forehead to the floor. Or just onto your arms, whatever's comfortable for you. And what I want you to feel here is a stretch. You might feel the traction in the stretch through the upper thoracic spine, or you might find it more in the lower back. People are different. But again, the key is to breathe slowly and deeply, because through the breathing and the slow, deep breathing, we engage the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're starting to affect the balance of chemistry in our bodies by breathing. And at the same time, we're releasing and relaxing tensions again, kicking these toxins out of the body. And then come back up onto all fours. And we're going to come to upright kneeling. So just kneel back if that's comfortable for you. If it's not, just hold it in all fours, because all we're going to do is come to an upright kneeling posture. So it's a little bit of a hard floor and the mats are fairly thin. So if you need a bit of padding, you know, you can put a blanket or a jumper underneath your knees, or even roll the mat up, you know, double it up or something for a bit of extra padding if your knees need it. So we've worked through the upper body, and we have this tendency to kyphosis, particularly for depression. You know, we have a tendency to kind of round our shoulders to protect this vital, the heart space is a massive energy center, so we protect ourselves from the world. So that posture kind of opens up and reduces the kyphosis in the upper back. This next posture is going to work into side bending and to release the lateral lines, which again can get quite tense. So take your right leg and bend your right leg at the knee, have the foot flat, and then take this leg out to the side. Right, so actually if you come sideways on the mat, so if you face that wall, because I want you to just stay on the mat, sticky on the mat, that's it. So take your right leg out to the side and just have that foot comfortable. So the foot is quite flat and the toes are pointing slightly forwards, but the arms are just long by the sides of the body. Put your right hand on your thigh somewhere, so it's just resting on that leg, but the arm is long. And standing up tall, breathe in, lift up your left arm all the way up and point the palm to that opposite wall where the chairs are. So just turn your palm to face that wall. And as you breathe out, side bend to the right. Just allow your right arm to float down your right leg the other way. It is your right, isn't it? Yeah, I'm getting my lefts and rights mixed up all over the place, but yeah. So it's like that, yeah? Side bend to the right. Breathe in and up. Breathe out again. Side bend to the right. Using this arm to support you as you slide it down the leg. Breathe in and up. And each time see if you can get a little bit further. But just listen to your low back and go careful if you need to. And just do that one more time. Breathe in and then breathe out. Side bend all the way down, so you feel a lovely stretch down this side. Just hold it for a little bit, for a couple of breaths, and you feel a contraction here in the quadratus lumborum in the waist. And then breathe in and up and release the arms back down. Just rest the knees out a little bit if you need to, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So this time, taking your left leg up And then out to the side. Make sure that foot is planted quite firmly on the ground and that you feel quite steady in that knee and in the foot of the left leg. Breathe in, lift your right arm all the way up. Keep your left hand on that leg, so it's going to just slide down. And as you breathe out, this time side bend to the left. Feel that stretch all the way down the right side of the body. Breathe in and up. And breathe out and stretch. Let this arm arch up and over. Out and stretch. So your right arm all the way to the opposite side of the wall. And then one more time. Side bend all the way out to the left side. Breathe in and up. And then bring the knees back under. And we'll just do Shashankasana if that's okay with you. So just bring the hands to the floor, back into the box position. And just slide the buttocks back onto the heels, taking the forehead to the floor, stretching out through the arms. Just to have a little rest out. Close your eyes here if that's okay with you, especially for anxiety. Remember to breathe slowly and deeply, feeling the breath moving in the back of the heart area. And then slowly draw up to kneeling, and we're going to come to standing next. So just in your own time, nice and safely, just come to a standing posture.